I usually have Bible study with the Spirit of God, and I don't only call it a Bible study, I call it Bible study slash intimate talk because there I ask the Spirit of God questions from like regarding my life. Maybe there's something that is actually bothering me, or there's something I want to achieve, or there's someone in my life that I'm not sure on how I need to deal with that person, but stuff like that. I call it Bible study slash intimate talk. Calling it this way gives me a room to read the word, study it, get the revelations from the Spirit of God, and also get a message or a light through a matter that is disturbing me at the moment. I was studying Genesis chapter 2, and it was all about creation. This should be a topic for another day. Let me talk about this one, which really blew my mind, and it's in Ephesians 3:20. The Bible tells me, "My God is able to do to me above all that I ever ask of, above all that I imagine." Do you know how I imagined that verse in my life? This is how I imagined it. So, I want something. What example should I give? Okay, let me give my practical example, my current example. I am living in Dubai and I wanted a house, my own house, my own house. I want a penthouse that is right beside the Burj Khalifa, where when it lights up, I can actually dwell in its glory, bask in it in fullness. Just look at the light. Look at the people downstairs on my big penthouse with wide window and a very spacious living room where I can dance and just jump around at night and just. I mean, that was my request, to be honest. I am a dreamer, by the way. I dream so big. And the Lord is gracious. He gave me exactly that. I have my own penthouse in Dubai at the top of the peak, basking in the glory of the city. And I like that. From the imagination that I had, from the request that I had placed to God, and I'm like, okay, so this is my request. So what are you going to give me? More. Because you give me more. Please. Well, my expectations was for God to give me the keys to a house. And, He gave me a house, but the house He gave me is not a penthouse. It's a one-bedroom apartment. But guess what? It's mine. So when I was having a study and intimate talk with the Spirit of God about this particular verse which He brought me, and then I asked Him of a practical question. This is what the Word of God tells me. But then He tells me that you view it all wrong, Vanilla. You look at things so much in the physical that you forget about how God operates. Don't look at it so much from the physical that you forget how God operates. And then He tells me, you see this notebook? When we say that God does to us above all that we ever ask of, above all that we imagine, it's not like I'm going to get a bigger notebook like this. I mean, a bigger notebook more than this. No. What He's going to do to me, He is going to give me a source to get this notebook. Okay? So I wrote it here. The Spirit of God was telling me it's not necessarily that He gives you a notebook with a lot of pages, but rather He gives me a source that I may always have what I ask for. So you ask for a notebook, but He doesn't just give you a bigger notebook, but He gives you a source for you to get the notebooks whenever you want, wherever, however, you know. He does not only provide things, He provides a source and establishes a system. We all know from a system, there's a constant flow. From a system, there's a constant supply. And from a source, there is a guarantee for you to always have what you want. But if you do not have all that, you might have it today and miss it tomorrow. So he doesn't want his children. I'm talking about me and you, if you're his child. Do you know how you be his child? By receiving him. You need to be born again. Being born again gives you the guarantee to be a child of God. And let's speak of the biggest source. When you're a child of God, that means you have a true source, a guaranteed source, and that is your Father in heaven. My spiritual father says it like this. I like it. You must be born again. To be a child of God, it's not optional, it's a must. That's point A and the firmest point of everything in my life. It has to be in yours too. But we're talking about this. When He gives you a source, it creates a system. You will always have what you want, you will always have what you ask for. And from the source, then you can get something that is bigger. And I asked, okay, so from this place, what is the source? And He told me it's faith. Faith. He said, yes, faith is the source I've planted into you. And then He gave me a list of the things that I got from the faith that I have, including this house, because this is the case study that I'm currently having right now. And then I said, okay. And then He said, from that faith, then you will get that penthouse that you want. And I said, sure, Daddy, I am getting it. Let's get to it. I imagined the results, a penthouse, but He gave me the roots for me to be established into having a penthouse, even if I'm gonna want a penthouse in Italy. Faith is like a manufacturing machine. You want a house, it gives you. You want a car, it gives you. You want a good marriage, it gives you. So that is definitely above all that I ever ask of and above all that I imagine. There is no boundary with faith. And that's why it's written in the word that with faith, all things are possible. And faith is not just something that you just have it like this. Faith is a seed, it grows gradually, and the more it grows, the more it brings results even bigger and better. Do not let go of your faith and do not neglect it. The Word of God says, do not neglect a simple start. Usiudharau mwanzo mdogo. Faith, mwanzoni ni ndogo. Wewe, just look at yourself. What did you get by faith? Let that be a seed for you to get more and more and more and more and more. Remind yourself what your faith gave you, even if it was just a sweet or a chocolate. Remind yourself, because as you keep on going, it keeps on growing. That's just how it works. From that, when we were still having that discussion with the Lord, He reminded me of how much I take my faith very, very personal. I take my faith absolutely not to be played with. You know, a deal, an opportunity, a man might come in my life. And the first thing I'm looking at is that, is my faith safe here? And analyzing it, and I find my faith is not safe, I'm like, no, this is not for me because my faith is compromised. I have realized that faith is something very important to have as a life of a believer. By the way, it is written that without faith, it is impossible to please the Lord. So now, in the bigger picture, I see it. Anything, anyone, any opportunity that plays with my faith, shaketh it, tempers with it, it does not only destroy my current life, it destroys my future, it destroys my dreams, and most especially, it destroys my relationship with God. What is something that worthy to destroy my relationship with God? Absolutely nothing. In the beginning, when I didn't usually have this mentality, and whenever I hear pastor preach and he's like, if it's not from God, I'd rather not have it. I was like, oosh, that feels like a heavy load right there. And trust me, it is. Because sometimes something comes to you very pleasant, and you saying no feels like you're losing. But the truth is, every perfect gift and every blessing, every good thing comes from above. And right now, I'm just confident to say that if it's not from the Lord, I, Vanilla, would rather not have it because it is not worth it. This is such a bold move, and you cannot experience this if you do not know who He is, what He does, and the assurance He gives you. Because when you don't believe in this, you might be like, if I don't get it now, I will not have it later. But God is just that God. So if you know Him, His character, who He is, and how much He loves you, you would definitely say no to anything and anyone that does not come from Him. Because you know what comes from Him? It comes in a full package. It brings the peace, it brings the joy, it brings the wealth, it brings the goodness, it brings the blessing, it brings everything good, the beauty. It comes as a full package. Compromising that to something that is not really worth it, count me off. I just opened this page. It says, but my righteous one will live by faith, and I take no pleasure in the one who shrinks back. God takes no pleasure. It's such a bold statement. But the Lord is gracious. When it's hard, you tell Him, because as for me, when it's hard, I just tell Him, like, Lord, this feels so hard. Help me. I need you. God is a God that you don't conceal matters for. You tell Him. You tell Him how you feel. You tell Him how it's heavy. You tell Him how it's light. You tell Him how good you feel. You tell Him everything that you feel, because this journey is His and yours. It is written, Jesus is the author of this faith. So if you're doing faith alone, it's definitely going to win against you. But if you're doing faith with Him, you're definitely going to win into it and win through it and win for your good, and everything will work out perfectly. It has been a good moment, to be honest. I have had a good time talking to you guys. I will ask the Lord if I can write about this. If it's very intense and I need to write about it, then we'll write about it. Because I'm too good at writing. Like when I write, I just flow. I love writing more than speaking. Yeah, so stay blessed, guys, and embrace everything beautiful that the Lord is giving you. It is worth the embrace. I had a good time. Bye. I'll see you next time.